Welcome to a special edition of Bucks Weekly. I'm here with Covington legend, Hall of Famer, Ouellette, who is playing in the Canadian Football League, and he's now up in Saskatchewan. So AJ, man, your career has really skyrocketed since you went to Toronto. What year was it, 2019?
Yep.
And you kind of had some adversity over the years with the COVID year. Just talk about your overall career at Toronto.
Yeah, so I got cut from the Browns and just trying to figure out what the heck was next in life. And I'm sitting on the couch, and I get a call from Toronto, and the guy's like, "Hey, do you want to continue playing football?" And I'm like, "Well, yes." He goes, "Do you want to play up in the CFL of Toronto?" And I'm like, "Yes." Like, I didn't know anything about the CFL. He goes, "Can you be here tomorrow?" And I remember sitting on the couch, like, find a passport, find all this, drove up there. They probably have 5 games left in their 2019 season. So I ended up playing in 2 of those. Had like 100 yards in one of the games, a receiving touchdown, and was excited to kind of get the professional career rolling. 2020 came and COVID, they canceled that year. 2021, kind of the same thing almost. They kept pushing it back, and it was like half a season is what we got in. So didn't get to show too much that year. And then they brought in a Hall of Fame legend the year after that with Andrew Harris, so I got to learn behind him.
He's a really good friend of yours too.
Yeah. So I'm really close to him. Talk to him probably once a week still. He just moved to London, Ontario permanently. He has his maybe forever home with him and his family. So excited for him. But they brought Andrew in, so that meant I wasn't going to be the starter for that year. Just kind of learn from him. Learned a lot from the Canadian game from him being Canadian, being in that system for so long. I think that was his 15th professional season. So a lot you can learn from someone like that. He ended up getting hurt, tore his pec, and they threw me in, and I was a starter since then. And that season led to a Grey Cup victory. Never going to forget that season, that locker room of guys. And then last year, we ended up tying the CFL record for regular season. We were 16-2. Had a hell of a run. We just kind of fell apart there in the playoffs and just didn't play our best game.
Well, and you also invented the hammer.
Yeah.
It was at the Hamilton game.
Yep.
Kind of explain that hammer thing. That's pretty cool because everybody's talking about the hammer.
Yeah. So it was kind of thrown out about superheroes and all that in the locker room. There's a couple guys that have like a Wolverine or like a Batman action figure in their locker room. And I was just trying to figure out an identity for me, and when I got up there for camp, I had my hair bleached and all that this time, just trying to have fun for camp. The whole idea was probably to dye it back brown after camp, but the whole Thor thing took off. I said, I'm going to run with this and see where it goes, and Gunner was up for one of the games. I don't know if it was a preseason game or one of the first regular season games, but he bought me the Thor hammer.
Your little nephew?
Yeah, at the Toys R Us before we went out to eat the night before a game. So I took the Thor hammer into the locker room, and all the guys thought it was sweet. So I kind of kept the hammer around. And then a couple weeks later, we were playing the Labor Day Classic game in Hamilton, which for everybody that doesn't know, their stadium is called the Hammer. So I thought it was cool to bring the hammer to the Hammer, and I was going to use it as a sideline prop. And there was some chirping going on between players, like every Hamilton-Toronto game. And one of their guys said something I didn't like to one of our O-linemen, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring this hammer onto the field after we score next. And it ended up being after my only professional pass that ended up being a touchdown. So it was already a big moment. Went to the sideline, grabbed the hammer, brought it on the field, and slammed it down on their field. And the CFL and the fans loved it. So the hammer kind of took off.
Well, and the thing is, we went up for a game. Might have been, I think during the regular season, it was against Montreal, and after the game, you see all these kids wearing your jerseys, and then some of these kids were holding hammers and waiting on you to come out of the locker room, and it was pretty cool. It's like, holy smokes, AJ's like, these kids all love AJ.
Yeah.
So that had to be pretty gratifying to see how those kids really gravitated towards you up there.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a boost of energy every time you see your jersey on someone that you've never met before, and all these kids running up with the hammer, and just, you know, after a touchdown, you kind of look up in the crowd, and you see everybody kind of waving a hammer or something like that. So, like, that is just a boost of energy you get, and even when you're just walking around the city, you're going to see something that reminds you of it.
So you've had really good success up there in Toronto. You had over 1,000 yards this past year, and you were an all-star. You were picked on the all-star team, and you had a lot of really good teammates. So kind of talk about some of your teammates that you enjoyed playing with.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a long list that you'd have to go through, but some of the ones I was the closest with, Andrew Harris being the Hall of Famer. He was phenomenal since the day he came in. We kind of laugh at it now because he was the Winnipeg guy coming into Toronto his first year, and I was like, yeah, I don't really like this guy. And from day one at camp, when we were just, the way I heard him talk to coach about some of the plays, I'm like, okay, this guy knows football. And then I just watched the way he practiced. I'm like, all right, this guy's a good guy. He knows how to practice. He knows the questions to ask, and he just wants to get better. And we were best friends since. Dan Adeboboye, other running back, he was a rookie 2 years ago, and he kind of fell under my wing. He lives his life and stuff, but I think he just kind of followed in my footsteps. He would show up. He would do the Breakfast Club. He was one of the biggest members of that, and would just try to do the little things in practice that I would harp on, and he would pick up on stuff so quickly, and it just took him a couple years. And it's funny because this year, signing with a new team, I basically all last year I told him his nickname was the Future, and which really that just meant you're going to be the future of this team. You're a Canadian, you're a running back, like they're going to love you here. That's his hometown. He lives 20-30 minutes outside the city.
Wow.
So I said, this is your team. This is going to be, they're going to love you here. So to the future, go kick butt this year coming up. Declan Cross, my fullback, since I got up there, he retired last year after the Grey Cup.
That was number 38, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was good.
Everyone thinks he's Samoan, but I don't even know what he is.
After the games, you'd see him down on the field and stuff talking.
Yeah.
He was a good guy.
Yeah, just down to earth, just wanted to make everybody feel loved and wanted. And him and his wife are now in Australia living so she can go to dental school. They had their firstborn child, Caliber. Shout out to Caliber. But yeah, he's just living the good old retired life now. He's been a big one. And then you got the specialist who always just kind of hang around because they're specialists and they're, I don't want to call them losers, but they know who they are, with Boris Beatty and John Haggerty. Love those guys.
Oh, the punter and kicker.
Yeah.
That kicker man,
He's the strongest kicker, I would say, in the CFL. He's got a leg on him. He knows it because he's a loudmouth.
Does he? Yeah.
Yep.
Isn't he the one that passed you over the hammer or something?
John, the punter, he handed me the hammer to bring it onto the field. Yeah. But he's in Australia now, and Boris is in France. So I know people everywhere. I just got to get traveling, get to some vacation scheduled. And then the biggest, I would say for last year, the biggest that I kind of learned how to be a professional behind was Bethel Thompson.
Oh, the quarterback, McLeod.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a good dude too.
Yeah. So just kind of learning the proper ways of wanting to push the gas pedal in some of these players and kind of like, hey, listen, like what's going on in your life, because these are professional guys. They do this for a living, and they have other things outside of sports, especially in the CFL. Like, you're not going to live off of your income there, your salary. So everybody has different jobs outside. I'm trying to manage the gym while I'm up there playing. I'm just lucky that I got coaches here that I can kind of look away for months, come back, and it's better, if not the same, at the gym. But you got to check in on people that maybe just have a newborn at home and they're getting like 2 hours of sleep and then still trying to play a game a couple days later. And so he kind of taught me how to be a true pro in the sense of leadership-wise. So, yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned the Breakfast Club. That's something you set up there in Toronto, isn't it? The morning lifting sessions.
Yep. So if you're in there by 6:30 a.m., you're 3 times a week. You're part of the Breakfast Club.
So they never did anything like that up there before, and
not that I know of. It was just kind of.
They have an athletic trainer, right?
Yeah. They have the 4 athletic therapists, and they have 2 strength coaches that kind of run the gym. It's open. I think they get there at like 5 for some of the coaches and get their own workout in. But it was kind of, if players want to show up, they show up. And I was like, we need to get more people in here, so let's do an incentive. Let's start a club. I threw out some T-shirts and kind of just had some fun with it. Kind of gave yourself some pride. If someone walked by that wasn't in the Breakfast Club, you were just like, hey, no, you're not part of this group right now. So just try to get more people in there.
So what about the fans in Toronto? I mean, it seemed like every time we went up there to watch you, which we couldn't get up there all the time, but the more and more we went up there, it just seemed like more and more fans were gravitated towards you, especially after the Grey Cup.
Yeah. I didn't change anything. It was kind of a handful of fans kind of liked me, and they would always come up to me after games when I was really only playing special teams. And I talked to them. They got to know me. And then the season where I was the backup behind Andrew, got more and more fans. And then he got hurt, and I don't think the city kind of knew what to expect. But they were just trying to cheer on someone on their team. So they were rooting for me, trying to keep everything positive. And then I had 7 games that were a crazy run. And that's when I started seeing jerseys popping up, and they were selling them in the stands after that. And everything carried on to when they announced me as the starter for this past year. I had the highest jersey sale in the league, if not top 3. I don't know the exact numbers. They just told me I was at the top. And yeah, I think it's just the way I connect to fans. If they reach out, I try to reach out. Sometimes it's 2 weeks later.
You would stand there hours after a game and sign autographs.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Me and Pinball would be the last one to leave the stadium because he tries to make sure every fan that wants to be noticed is noticed. And I kind of try to pick that up after him. So I try my best to reach out to everyone that reaches out, or get to see them if they're staying after the game.
Well, and even the one game at Hamilton when we went up to as well, during warm-ups, you look around the crowd and these Hamilton fans have all these, I mean, some of these signs are like, holy smoke, they're pretty inappropriate, but they're funny. The one dude talking about corn, how you eat corn, I was like, oh my gosh. But you could tell the Hamilton fans liked you too, because after the game, you were out talking to your old Ohio teammate, Casey Sales, out in the middle of the field. And then you guys were basically the last guys on the field. And when all these fans stood there and waited until you to walk off so they could shake your hand walking off the field. And it wasn't just Toronto fans. That was pretty cool. So the Hamilton fans were even... Yeah, you could tell a lot of them really liked you too.
Yeah, and I see that in some of these cities that are football-minded. Like I put Hamilton as one of them. They're a blue-collar, hard-nosed community, and they just love the game of football. So if they see someone that they respect playing the game that they like the way they're playing, they're going to show it. They're going to give you a hard time before and during the game, that's for sure. I remember,
but it's funny.
I remember getting this close to a fan that was in the second row. He was leaning over some other lady, and I'm screaming at him during the game. And then afterwards, he wanted to shake my hand, so he reached over the railing, shook my hand, said that was a good game. You kicked our butts. He said different words, but
yeah. Well, this one lady even handed you her baby over the rail, so she could get. You're like, hold this baby. I'm like, holy moly.
Yeah.
And you said she wanted to get a picture of you with her baby, and literally the baby was probably about 6 months old.
Yep, and that's when my year and a half is normally okay, I'll touch, because I can rough them up. I'm just scared to break a baby, so my pictures.
Okay, so you had a great experience in Toronto, and now Saskatchewan reached out to you, and you're headed up to Saskatchewan. So what happened with the transition there?
Yeah, so was it last year? I was a free agent and never been a true starter in the CFL for a full year, so I don't think Toronto kind of knew what to expect, what they were going to get from me. So it was just a one-year deal I signed, so I was going to be a free agent again after this year. And I had a great career, 1,000 yards, two-time East Division CFL All-Star. Kind of led the league in what we would call like a PFF grade, which is they calculate yards after contact, yard before contact, missed tackles, forced, all the fancy stuff.
Blocking.
Yeah, they do all those grades. I was the highest graded running back in the league, so I was kind of using that as negotiation for my contract. And through the process, I had 3 teams reach out. I had Toronto, Winnipeg, and Saskatchewan. And during that time, before I could actually sign with the team, my defensive coordinator from Toronto took the head coaching job in Sask. And he's one guy that I respect. He played the game right, coaches the game right, and knows what he wants out of his athletes, which is just hard-nosed football. And being a D-lineman, defensive side mindset, I like it more than I think the offensive side when it comes to like a head coach. And then my running back coach, he left with Coach Mace.
Oh, that's cool. So you got two coaches that you had already that know you.
Yep.
That's really good.
But my running back coach is now the O-line coach there because he played professionally, NFL and CFL as an O-lineman. So now he's a O-line coach. So I got those two, and I got to talk to the offensive coordinator, Coach Mueller, up there, now in Sask. He was in Calgary, and his vision on running the ball is what I want. So that's the big reason I kind of decided to spread my wings and go west.
That's pretty cool. Now, when you went up there, I kind of followed some of the stuff on the Saskatchewan website and on their social media pages. And man, they had you everywhere on there. And they also took you around to meet a lot of the fans. Kind of talk about that experience going up there to Saskatchewan and kind of meeting all those fans up there.
Yeah, so it's like I said about Hamilton, a football community. You don't get more football than Saskatchewan, like that whole province with Regina, Saskatoon, and all the cities in between. It is football and football only. And I got to feel going there. I went through the whole Toronto airport, not getting noticed, which is fine. Like just put my head down, get to my terminal. As soon as I get to my gate to fly to Regina, I had 3 people staring at me. And I'm Finally, one of them walked up to me and they're like, "They're bringing you out already?" And I said, "Yeah." I said some words I wasn't supposed to, but I was basically just saying that Coach Mace is a terrible coach. We got practice tomorrow. You believe that? The dude was like, "No way." So I had some fun.
So you're joking around with it?
Yeah. And then I get there, and it is nothing but warm greetings. Like, I show up to a gift basket of all their apparel, dog items, because they knew I'm big with my two dogs. So I had Bones, I had little bandanas, scarves, and all that. For
They give your
dogs.
two dogs a locker room right beside, or locker right beside you in the
I might
locker
have to
room.
work
That'd be
that
cool,
in.
wouldn't it? You should have negotiated
I might
that.
have to work that one in. But then I was on 2 radio shows. They drove me around, and then I had an autograph signing at the Riders store, which is their apparel store. And they said it was the largest single-person autograph signing that they've had there.
Wow.
And I felt it. It was, 3 hours of nonstop signing, smiling. Like, the fans were great, telling me stories of either who I reminded them of in the past for the Riders, and how many Grey Cups we're about to win. So it's fun, and seeing the excitement in the fans was fun.
And they're selling these hammers.
Yeah.
I saw that you see all these people holding these hammers with and your number 45 is back. How cool is that?
Yep.
You get your number 40, and I bet Frank Zolich is thrilled over
Yeah.
that. Your coach in college.
Yeah, I haven't got to talk to him since my decision on picking 45 again, so I got to reach out to him and see how he's doing. He lives out there now, close to, so I can get him to a game. Maybe.
Oh, Frank lives out close.
Pretty sure he moved out to Idaho.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, you ought to reach out to him, try to get him to a game.
Oh yeah.
I bet he would love one of those jerseys.
Yeah, I'll send him one anyways. I already got the one ordered for Coach Alvin.
Oh, do you?
He wanted one down in Athens because he always wore my Toronto one for interviews. So now I get to wear a green 45 one. So,
That's cool.
yeah. But picking the numbers, I was 34.
And you didn't get to pick that in Toronto, right?
I did.
Oh, you did?
So when I got to Toronto, I was 47.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And once I went active, they said, "Is there another number you want?" And my mom always told me, if I make it professionally, I have to be number 34. She's a Bears fan, Walter Payton.
Oh, Walter Payton. Yeah.
But I already had my 12.
Why wasn't she a Packer fan?
I don't know. She's the only one in the whole family that's a Bears fan, so I don't know. But I had my 12 from high school, my 1-2, all through Pee-wees and junior high. I was 23, so I had my 2-3. College, I was 4.45, so I had my 4.5. I just needed the 3.4 to get the wall collection looking
That makes
proper.
it. Yeah, that's cool. That makes sense.
So when I was moving out to Sask, I asked 34, 23, good running back numbers, and both retired. And I was like, 45. They're like, open, perfect. So we were good with that.
That's cool. That is really cool. So you've been involved in big time wrestling up in Toronto, and that's kind of floated around on the internet too. Mm-hmm. How are you going to transition that to Saskatchewan?
I just got to figure out what kind of league that they have out there, branches. I know the offense coordinator, Coach Mueller, and then the therapy staff and definitely the equipment staff is huge on pro wrestling out there. They have like WWE belts and stuff in their offices and all that. And I guess there's one kind of division or league that kind of wrestles through there. They'll go out to Calgary, and on the way back they'll stop in the city. So I just got to get a hold of them, see if I can show up, show face, maybe get the coaches and stuff some tickets, so I can get some stuff when I need them, especially with the equipment staff. Keep them happy, and you get a lot of stuff from them.
Now you're still going up to Toronto for some wrestling, right?
Yep. So March 9th is the wrestling event. I'm going to leave the 8th. And it's my first solo match, so no tag team partners, nothing. It's just me in there with the other guy. And Hopefully I don't mess up.
You going to get trained by Scooby? He'll teach you how to lay down the slacker smacker.
I need to get some matches in close so Scoop could be my tag team partner, so I don't have to do anything.
That'd be hilarious. Him and his little pan, he goes and hits people over the head with.
Yeah. I'll just kind of start the match, tag him in. He can do all the hard, dirty work, and then he can tag me in for me to get the pin.
Yeah, there you go. Scoob. It just stinks that Scooby can't get a passport.
Yeah.
I don't think he can. I don't know. But it would be nice to be able to get Scooby up there to be able to watch you play up in Canada.
Yeah.
That would be nice. But going back to the football, you know, a lot of people that don't probably look at numbers. Everybody looks at rushing, touchdowns, receptions, but they don't. A lot of them don't look at the blocking. I don't remember ever your quarterback getting sacked when you were in the backfield blocking. Now, if you went out on a swing, out on a running route or receiving route, yeah, they might, but you rarely gave. I don't remember you ever giving up a sack. Just the way you block.
Yeah, no, that is a one-on-one battle that as a running back you win 100% of the time. And that's just the mindset you have to attack with that, because that guy behind you throwing the football is worth a lot more money than you are. So
Yeah.
if you protect him, you're probably going to win a lot of games.
Okay, another thing that people don't is the number of fumbles. Let's go throughout your career now, all the way down to high school. I only remember you fumbling one time when you were a freshman in high school. And Coach Miller, he stressed how important it was to protect the football, and he pulled you out of the game. From that time through high school, you never fumbled one more time. And then in college, I can't remember you fumbling.
Yeah, I remember the one in high school, once you brought it up and kind of explained it to me. College, I had one, I'm trying to think, one or two. I know for sure one, but there might have been a second one in there that I don't want to say I only had one and missed the second one. But yeah, I would say one in high school, one in college, and I've only had one in the pros.
So basically, let's say 4, you can count them all in one hand. And that so to show kids, to explain to kids, you know, how to protect the football, how do you do that? You got football in your gloves?
We can demonstrate here. Yeah, definitely make sure you get proper gloves. And then know when to use them, because those rainy games, muddy, these get slick. So any type of stick'ems, these are just my CFL gloves that I get up there. But Nike, Adidas, they make some good receiver gloves. I don't worry about the padding on here because I'm not a wimp.
Well, and up in Canada too, some of those cold games, those gloves got to really help your hands, don't they?
Oh yeah, yeah. When you get late in season, you could even, some of the tricks that the receivers do is they'll throw heating pads on the top of the hand, not to mess with the grip or anything of them catching it, but to keep the hands warm. So definitely proper gloves is what I would recommend. And then after that, it comes down to knowing how to hold the football. So never put fingers on the end of the football. That's how you break a finger, that's how you lose a finger, and that's how you're going to drop the ball, is when someone hits it and you're trying to get your hand out the way. So I always do the equal claw, split it with these two fingers. After there, it's a forearm curl into here, trying to get the tip of the ball into the bottom of the bicep. So from there, it's squeezing it into the bicep. From here, it's elbow glued to your belly button, hand glued to your shoulder. The ball's not going anywhere from there. A lot of coaching tips that I see, especially at the younger level, is 2 hands on the ball, and they try to teach it like this. Well, you have to kind of loosen the ball to get 2 hands on it to do that. So the way I'm teaching it now is 2 hands on the ball just means this, because then the ball never gets exposed to possibly fumbling it. So that's how we go from there.
Well, and I've seen you, there's times that you'll be running down the field and you still have both hands on the ball all the way to the goal line. It's like you don't ever take two hands off the ball unless you're wide open. But
Yeah. The one, I think I know what you're talking about. We were in Edmonton, and there's like 40 seconds to go in the game. We could have stopped and kicked the field goal to win it, but we were kind of far out there. I don't know what it was. It was like a 30-yard, 40-yard run. I look over the sideline, and Andrew's doing this to me because everyone in the stadium knows it's going to be a handoff to me to try to run out the clock. And it parted, and I'm running just like this, waiting for someone to try to catch me, and nobody's coming. So I scored like 40 yards just doing this.
Just bear hugging the football. Just bear hugging it.
Yeah.
Okay, so hey Jay, when are you heading back to Saskatchewan?
We're going to report early, me and a couple players. We're going to go May 2nd first to do like a player-only camp. But technically camp, I think, starts the 12th or 13th of May.
So you got to be pretty pumped up going in there, and that stadium's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So what are your goals this year, and what gets you really pumped up about Saskatchewan?
Yeah, so goals, I'm still writing those down. I got a PowerPoint that me and coach and a couple other players are going through to kind of get our identity and kind of like who we want to be, how we want to play the game, and we're all on board of just being like that, like hard nose, just mean, evil players out there, and that's what I'm excited to get from the fans, is to them to carry that persona as well, and the players to pick it up. I know our O-line, we're going to be the nastiest bunch in the room, and running backs, ball protection, protect the quarterback, and then just make the defense quit by the fourth quarter.
And they're the Roughriders, right?
Yep.
And you're going to be the rough runner.
Yep. We're gonna run until the other team gives up. So our goal is not to win the fourth quarter. Our goal is to just pound, beat them up first, second, third quarter, fourth quarter, and then by the end of the season, there's no teams left. So that's the mindset we want. Like you said, ball protection, and just be a mean and nasty group in there.
Didn't work.
It didn't work.
We were trying to do it. It's working out. He just squeezed the ball. It's like a left noodle now.
There we go.
There we go. Well, hey, it's been a great one. We just tried to do a joke and it didn't work out very good. I wanted this to pop.
I thought I was going to.
I did too. Yeah. Hey, everybody just follow AJ Ouellette. He's heading off to Saskatchewan, going to just keep your career going, man.
Yep. Just have fun. Have fun playing this game that fell in love with in second grade.
Okay. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoy this video. Good night, and
go Bucks!
And go Rough Riders.
Yes.
And the Rough Runner.